Hey, welcome back to our IELTS Tips and Tricks series. This is our second explainer, and today we're diving deep into the listening section. We're going to break down the top 5 do's and the top 5 don'ts to give you a really solid toolkit for test day.
You know, it's totally normal to feel the pressure when it comes to the listening test. I mean, the audio only plays once, and you have to think on your feet. But here's the good news. We're about to lay out a super clear and effective strategy that's going to help you feel way more in control.
All right, first up, let's talk about the do's. Think of these as your 5 golden rules. They're all about building a solid foundation before you even hear that first question.
Okay, let's kick things off. Our first rule is about the very first thing you're going to hear in the test.
So, every section starts with a short intro. Now, this part is key because it's not written on your question paper. You have to listen carefully because it gives you all the important context, like who's talking, where they are, and what the conversation's all about.
So what does that actually do for you? Well, an intro like this instantly gets your brain in the right gear. You immediately know, okay, I should be listening for words about university stuff, applications, maybe rent or dorms. Just like that, you're already a step ahead.
On to rule number 2. This one is all about using those moments of silence to your absolute advantage.
The test actually gives you these little pockets of prep time before each part. This time is pure gold. You need to use every single second to read the questions that are coming up. Seriously, this isn't your coffee break. It's your chance to figure out exactly what you're listening for.
And this is a perfect example of why that's so powerful. When you pre-read the questions, your brain switches from just passively listening to actively hunting for clues. You're not just waiting for information anymore. You're on a mission to find a name, a date, or a string of numbers. Now, rule number 3 sounds so simple, but trust me, it is absolutely critical. Getting this one wrong can cost you points for an answer that's technically correct. No joke.
What am I talking about? The word count. You have to always check the instructions. When it says something like, no more than 2 words, that's not a suggestion. It's a hard and fast rule of the game.
Let's just break this down. The instruction says no more than 2 words. Simple enough. Then, in the audio, you hear, I recommend the new digital camera. Your first instinct might be to write, new digital camera. But wait, that's 3 words. So the only correct answer is digital camera. See how easy it is to lose a point there? You have to follow that word limit to the letter.
Okay, do number 4. This is all about momentum and keeping up with the test.
Think of the listening test like a train that just doesn't stop. You get one shot, one single listen. There's no rewind button. The questions are in order, so the moment you hear an answer, you have to grab it and write it down right then and there. If you hesitate, the train keeps moving and you risk missing the next answer too.
And for our final golden rule, this is a super quick mental check that you should get in the habit of doing for every single answer you write down.
Basically, just ask yourself, does my answer actually make sense in the sentence? It has to fit, both logically and grammatically. So if the question is, the club meets every Monday morning, perfect. It fits. But if you wrote something like large volume, you'd know right away that something's gone wrong. It's a fast, simple way to catch your own mistakes.
All right, so those are the do's. That's your strong foundation. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about the don'ts. These are the common traps that so many people fall into. Knowing what they are is how you're going to protect your focus and your score.
First up, let's tackle something that causes a whole lot of panic for people during the exam.
Listen, it is completely fine to change an answer. In fact, it's normal. Sometimes you'll hear something, write it down, and then the speaker will correct themselves a second later. The examiners fully expect to see corrections. So please, don't waste your mental energy worrying about a messy-looking answer sheet. All you have to do is this. Put a neat line through the mistake and write the correct answer right next to it. The most important thing is to do it quickly and get your head right back in the game without breaking your concentration.
Next up, this is the big one. What happens if you just completely miss an answer? Okay, whatever you do, do not panic. Panicking is the absolute worst thing you can do. Why? Because the answers come in order. So if you're still stuck worrying about question 12, you are guaranteed to miss question 13. The rule is simple. If you miss it, you miss it. Leave a blank, take a breath, and immediately, and I mean immediately, find the next question and refocus. Just move on.
All right, number 3. This is another really common trap people fall into when they're writing down their answers.
The test is not asking you to be creative or to summarize. It's testing if you can pull the exact words from the recording. So if the speaker says Red Rock Canyon, you write Red Rock Canyon. You don't write your own version like the Big Red Gorge. For this part of the test, you need to be a parrot, not a poet.
Okay, this next don't is actually directly connected to one of the do's we've already talked about.
Remember how we said do number 3 was to read the instructions? Well, don't number 4 is the other side of that coin. Don't exceed the word limit. One is the proactive thing you do, and the other is the mistake you have to avoid. They're totally linked, and both are vital for protecting your score.
And our final don't. Now, this one is specifically for those of you taking the paper-based test. It's all about that final step where you transfer your answers. When you copy your answers over to the final answer sheet, you have to write only the word or words that fill the blank, nothing else. So look at this example. If the answer was early, then on your answer sheet, you just write the word early. That's it. You don't write after early lunch or any of the other words, just the answer itself. Super important.
And there you have it. 5 clear rules to follow and 5 common traps you now know how to sidestep. This isn't just a list of tips, you know? It's a strategic toolkit that's going to help you walk into that listening test feeling prepared, focused, and totally in control.
With this foundation, you are so much better prepared to go in there and get the score you deserve. In our next explainer, we're going to give the IELTS reading section the exact same treatment. So make sure you join us for that one. We'll see you then.